Okay. So the syntax, the way we are reading it here is select star from products, and let's go to dax.do because that's our playground for Power BI. The way we would read one specific table here is using evaluate. So we use evaluate here in DAX to get the written output, and then the similar thing we do it using this syntax here. Select start from table, and then here we have evaluate, which is our basic syntax, and then from here we either drag and drop and then add the customer table, and then when we click on run, so this should show us list of all the particular columns and then rows from this customers table. But the same thing, if I go here, so using this syntax, select star from products will return everything for me. But let's say if I'm focused on only one specific column, then instead of star, I just have to specify the column name which I want to use. So in your dashboard, let's say you only have the requirement for product name and then the product price. Then what you basically do is you specify the columns here. So select product name price from products, and then you can do just run. So you could see you're getting a more simple view here. And we just copy this query, and then what we do is, so if you open Power BI desktop here, so within this data options, either I can go in get data and then select SQL Server, or by default you see we have the SQL Server option here. So when I click on the SQL Server, it will give me three different options here. So we have uh, we have to enter the server name and then database name, and then at the bottom I have the option to paste the query. So let me paste the query here. So let's say my server name is Northwind server, and then our database name is NW database. So we just supply this server name, database name, and then we provide the query. So what we are doing is we are only loading this columns from product table into this PBIX, and then we click on OK. So the only difference between connecting to an Excel or Northwind is we have to provide the server name, database name, and then either it could be that we provide a specific query here, or the other way what we could do is we can, so let's say I connect to Northwind database. So the interface, what we are seeing here will be the same when you connect to any of the other database. So let's say you connected to SQL Server, you provided the server name, and then you provided the database name. So this will give us a list of all the tables that are available in that particular database. And then from this, so let's say if you're only interested in orders queries table, then what you basically do is select this table, and then the way we did in SQL is we did select and then we specified number of columns here. So similar thing, what we could do it in Power BI as well, but instead of loading it directly, we have to click on transform data. So when you click on transform data, so this will take us into the query editor window. And within this, we will have the complete flexibility. We can change the table name here. So we could say we are doing an ETL. So ETL of orders query. Okay. So right now we just only change the query name. And from this, let's say we are not interested in this complete table structure, and then we only want to have the dimension columns. So dimension columns, as I mentioned, anything that is text related, which could be used either on the charts or either it could be used for within the slicers. And then what we basically have to do is, so let's say if you're only interested in shipping related details. So we are trying to see how many ship we have, what's the address of that ship, and then what's the ship city, and then what's the ship region, postal code, and country. Okay, so this is the information we are interested in. So what I did is I control clicked and selected the columns, and I can click anywhere here, right click, and then say remove other column. So I could see I have different options available here, and then every option is clearly mentioned what it will perform. So here I want to say either I could remove this column, selected columns, or I could remove the other column. So here I'm saying remove other columns. So you could see it has now returned to us ship name, ship address, ship city, and all. But one thing what we are observing here is now the information is repeating here because of the way we had the data. So what we have to do here is we have to right click here, and then we have to use another mQuery option. But before that, I would like to show to the right, it will capture all the applied steps. So you could see within the applied steps. So first is it connected to a source, and then it navigated, and then we picked one table, and then after that we removed the columns which we are not dealing with for our current requirement. And then now we want to remove the duplicates. So when I right click on this, so we have to search for something which would remove duplicates from this. So we have duplicate column which we don't want, we just want to remove the duplicate. So you see when I click on removing the duplicates, so it should give me a clean list here. So list of all the shipping names, and then their information. So one other thing, okay. So another thing you could observe here. So the first name and second name are similar, but because of the database issue, so it's treating it like a two different records here. So what we could do is we can try to have one standard name. So I could copy. So let's say if I want to keep this name here, so I highlighted this specific cell, and at the bottom it's giving me that name, so I can click here, and then I can do a copy. And then to the right, so I'm going again back to remove other columns. So I did not delete remove duplicates, but I'm one step above, and then again I'm right clicking on this, and then this time I want to replace values. So I'm saying here replace values, and then he's saying there will be a step that I'm saying it's okay for a new step. So what I'm saying here is find value without an hyphen, and then replace it with this. And then I'm clicking on this, and then you could see the first one now got replaced. And then if I go to the next step here, so you could see we now are only able to see one record here. So we could also try to see if you're having any kind of similar instance. But overall, what I'm trying to show here is we have the full leverage capability to completely transform the data. And then let's say if you want to merge the ship city, postal code, country, address. And then if you want to create only one column, then you have that capability as well. So you see the option, you have add columns at the top. So you either you have conditional columns or the invoke custom function, which we could look, but you have this custom column option. So I can click on that. And then here I could say ship full address, and within this we have ship address which we want to use first, and then the way we concatenate is using AND operation, and then after this we want to use ship city, and then again we want to use AND operation because we are concatenating, and after that we have city, let's add region, and we have country, and we have postal code, which is this. Okay. So when I click on this, so you could see everything is combined here. But one thing what we are missing are the spaces. So I can again click on this gear icon to the right, and then I can add a spaces. So spaces is nothing but adding more text here. So double quotation here, and then let's test this. So you could see now it added a comma. So we can repeat the same thing. So I can copy this format and then replace it. So same thing, I could do it here, and then here instead of a comma, I want to have an hyphen. So now this would look more like an actual address here. Okay, so at this time, as I have all the columns available, so what I could now do is I can have a ship name selected, and then I can control click and then select ship full address, right click again, and then say remove other columns. So you could see we connected to the source, we picked one table, and then we wanted to have a very simple view for the requirement. So we removed other columns. So we got this list of column. See, so we worked on cleaning the data. So we replaced the value. And then after that, we didn't want to have any duplicates. So we removed the duplicates. And then after that, we wanted to combine all the fields together. So we added a custom field. And then after that, we have uh, remove other columns. And then we only have now ship name and then ship full address. So this time we completed the ETL. So we could rename this to dim. Dim is nothing but a dimension. So dimension would have list of all the business attributes. The business attributes what we have here is the shipping related unit. So this is dim ship. Okay. So here we have ship name and then ship full address. So no changes. So let's say if you want to give a space here, then I can double click here on the header name, and then I'll provide a space here. Okay, all said. The only thing what we have to now do is come into the home tab and then say close and apply. So any questions, guys?
Uh, Hello. One question. So,
Yeah, they'll go ahead.
removing the duplicates, you have selected one column, right? So, is it possible? Can we select multiple columns and remove the duplicates? Like, suppose, for example, for two shipments, we have same address, or same shipment names have different addresses, something like that. So, if you want to delete based on two
Yeah,
columns.
yeah. So you could see, so right now I'm moving up, and then right now I'm at a step where I did not apply remove duplicate step, and I'm only replacing it. So let's say if I'm doing a control click here and then saying remove duplicates, and then this applies the next step. So you could see this is giving me again the same behavior. So one column or multiple column. So ship name is like a granular column what we have chosen, right? So that's the reason it's removed and then gave information uh, only for that specific ship details. So another example what we could pick here is so let's say if we have for one ship city, okay, I think so for Canada, uh, Sweden, France. UK. I think mostly they have only one. Okay, so we have Germany here. So let's say if I'm clicking here and then selecting Germany. So at this instance, so I collected only ship country as Germany. Within Germany, I have multiple ship names, and I'm right clicking here and then saying remove duplicates. So you could see here. So it's only picking one instance. So the first instance. So it's not showing me a list of all the different ships we have available in Germany. So same thing if I go back again here and then click on ship name and then say remove duplicates, then you could see this behavior is completely different. So it all depends on what combinations you're selecting and then what's the granularity. Okay. So I'm reverting back all the changes. Filtered, remove. So let me delete this as well. And then rename columns, remove duplicates. Oh, okay. So filtered rows. Okay. All right. So I can not now apply steps. Can we repeat it one more time? What you're doing because us just joined. Okay. So the folks, those who have joined, I don't know if okay. So we were basically trying to focus on query editor and then see how we do the data transformation within the query editor, and then comparing directly also to the SQL side. So within the SQL, the same thing, the way I could do it is, so when I have the select star from products table, so this is a complete list of all the columns. The way I do it here is I just specify the columns I want to choose. So I just run the query and then I have a syntax here to get a distinct values. So I just say distinct. And then when I run, so this will give me a distinct list of all the products with their price. So same thing, uh, I can I can do it within the query editor. So that's the steps we followed. And then we got the ship name and then ship full address. Any question, guys, before we move on? Is this video there in previous videos were which were 3 months? I'm not able to follow the question, but the query editor, I'm not sure if we have it in the previous session, but I'll be uploading all the videos today. So I think you can refer to today's recording. Okay. So yeah, so once we have this, so the other thing, what we could do is now we can create relationships. Yep, I'll be uploading all the videos today. So starting from day one. So I have all the recordings. I'll be uploading all those. All right. So now we come into the model view. So these are the steps as a Power BI developer you would be following. So first, we connected to a source, and then we did transformations in the query editor. And then now we have data loaded into the PBIX. So this is the import mode of the data. And we can now drag and drop and then get the field here. So you could see I have dim ship, and I could check if it has any of the existing relationships. So I could say add related tables, but you could see it's not pulling up any table name. The way we could add a relationship is if I come here in the data view, and then if I come in the orders table, so we have this ship name right here. So we could come here, and then let me see, this is the orders table. So drag and drop orders table and ship full address, ship name, and then we have ship name here, drag and drop, ship name, relationship, done. So you could see one to many. One site means that for each ship, we have only one record, but in orders table, we have all the transactions available. So that's the meaning of one to many relationships here. So now the way we can present the data is, so you have created this brand new table. So now you want to bring in the ship name. So you're adding in ship name here, which is giving you a list of all the ships. And then you created a relationship with the invoices table. And then within invoices table, let's see what all fields we have available. So we have freight information and we have employee ID. So let's sum this column here. So let me drag and drop product, sorry, orders table, and drag and drop. And as I mentioned, by default, you don't have to worry about writing any DAX calculation. So you could see it did a sum. So you see the way you created a dimension, you within the modeling view, you added a relationship, and then now you're able to relate it to your existing objects. So the way Power BI is highlighting here is you have picked ship name for this particular table visual from the dim ship, and then from the orders table. So you have picked freight information. Okay. Yep. So once the videos are uploaded, I'll share you the link. So probably I'll upload this to a specific playlist so you guys can refer to it. All right. So yeah, this is how you will be able to use Query Editor. So these are the steps you'd be following. So data source, and then after that, so let me put the steps together. So we have dashboard slash report requirements. This is the step number one. Step one. And then after that, we have step number two, where we will get database information. Step two will be database in information. So within this, we get server name, we get database name, we get table names, view name. So once we have this ready, then step three is use Power BI to connect to the database. And then step four, use query editor for any transformation. As an example, I can take a quick snip from here, snipping tool. So cancel dim ship. And then step 5, load the data. Step 6, add relationship if needed. And then after that, step 7, DAX calculation if needed. Step 8, add visuals. Step 9, demo PPT. Step 10, publish and share with users. Okay, so today we have seen a requirement where we have to create the dimension. We created that by connecting to a database, and then we picked one table, and then we did transformations in the query editor. We have the example here. Then we loaded the data. We added a relationship. We didn't needed any DAX calculations because we used the direct calculations we have available. And then we added a visual, and then I demo it to my manager. And then once I have that completed, you publish. And let me add the other step as well. So step 11. So all the work is basically being tracked in DevOps. So let's say, let me have this add work details and close the ticket, right? So let me stop the recording.